Hi, welcome back to part 2 of the speed build. Um, if you're watching this and you're not one of my friends, hi, I'm Bug. Hopefully if you're watching this, you've already watched the first video. Um, Unfortunately, there will be a part 3 of this. I just couldn't, I tried. I really tried to condense everything down into, like, less than an hour, but I really couldn't do it. And I did not want to record a voiceover for an hour, and I didn't want to, I don't know. I felt like nobody would watch if it was an hour long. So I'm splitting it up into like two 30-minute portions. Um, Anyways, I also wanted to thank my friend Rose for editing part of this video, the video that you see here now. Um, it's going to be like the first, what is that, first 17-ish minutes is going to be edited all by my friend Rose. Um, so thank you for that. That was very helpful. Um, I did end up changing this kitchen quite a bit. Um, Unfortunately, I just didn't like how open the space was. I feel like when I make my kitchens, I like to make, or not even my kitchens, just like my floor plans in general. I don't like to have an open floor plan. Um, it just feels like a lot of empty space, but also it's not the kind of houses that I like to look at. Um, I prefer those kind of like older styled Victorian, closed off rooms, or even, like European style rooms. Um, and I mean, I think it made sense for the kitchen and the dining here to be together, but it just was not working for me. Um, I tried, I really did. Um, but I don't know. Something about it just wasn't working. I felt like I liked the counters, but again, it just felt off. Um, these meds here that I'm using have been converted from Life is Strange. Same as with the previous video. I'm using a lot of clutter here. I tried to edit out as much as I could, obviously for that, but also keeping in the important stuff, making sure that you guys can see what I'm actually using. Um, so most of this video is clutter, and a lot of change because I could not make up my mind. Um, Sorry that this is taken, I guess, more than like a week to upload. I'm having wrist pain issues again because I'm too much of a gamer, but I won't admit it. So then I've been trying to take it a little bit easy, and I had some lab presentations I had last week that ate up a good chunk of my time. But good news is that's mostly done. Not a college student, but I'm still technically in college, I guess, doing lab work. Last week I had my legal name change, so that was really exciting. And then I got the letter that states your name has been changed from this to this, which you can take to like the Social Security and your ID place. And they misspelled Hudson, which is I've been going by for a long time now, and I chose to put that as my middle name, and they misspelled it. Probably on account of the fact that my other two names are not American, so I'm imagining that they were so focused on spelling the other two right that they just misspelled an easy name. So it still hasn't gotten fixed, and that was last Monday, the 21st. And today is May 1st. Nobody's responded to me or gotten back to me. I even went to the friggin' courthouse. So, I don't know. Guess I'll try sitting on the phone for few hours if I can't get a hold of anyone later. But what else can we talk about here? A lot of the clutter that I'm using here is from the Pantry Pack by Pearson. That pack is great. I wish I wish there was even more stuff. But I guess I could always say that I hoard CC. I always wish there was more stuff. Those the plates and bowls and stuff in the sink are by Around the Sims 4. I use a lot of Around the Sims 4 in this, ATS4. I use a lot of their stuff in this. So I recently downloaded a lot of their CC. It's just really, like, I don't know, I feel like I didn't realize just how much stuff they had. They have a lot of, like, really good messy clutter. And that's exactly what I need in, like, every single build that I do. Because I don't really like... There's been times when I've done, like, minimalist builds, but to me it doesn't feel complete and like an actual home unless there's some good bit of clutter. I like for it to feel as if, like, the Sims are actively doing something. You know, like they're sitting down, they're drinking their tea, or they're playing a board game, or you know, stuff like that, where they like just left stuff out because they're either in the process of doing it or we're doing it recently. Okay, this is where I start switching around the kitchen. You'll see that I have closed it off more. I was looking at a good few photos, and I'm gonna put those photos up in just a few minutes when I actually start doing something where you're probably gonna be like, what the fuck are you doing? But trust, I don't know if it came out good, but I did it, and I spent like 20 minutes of my life on it. So I feel like it was okay. Sunk cost fallacy. I much prefer how I changed the kitchen around. I think it looks a lot more realistic. I don't know that it would fit this era of home. But I figure this kind of home would have probably gone through renovations anyways. And so that's how I was kind of taking this. But man, I cannot stop using these counters. They're just so good in like every build that I make. Just perfect. The only thing I will say is that they're you'll see that the island counters for these don't have the wood swatches. And that really sucks. Because you kind of have to choose either something completely different or something that's kind of as close as possible but isn't awkward. So it is what it is. I probably could have used different counters and gotten like very similar stuff. But I don't know. It's a problem for... Is that even a problem for future me? I tried to go back. I finished almost all of the interior of this build, and that's what's in part 3. You'll see that I added a little part of the house. It's not in this video, so I don't really need to talk about it, but it's only a little bit of the house that's left unfurnished. And it's mostly just like the hallways and stuff. But this, when I tried to decorate the exterior, it gave me a lot of problems. I think because I had just updated my game, I don't know that that was the problem, but when I would click on an item, from the catalog, it would make the screen like a little bit brighter. And it wasn't like obnoxiously brighter, you know, it wasn't like strobe lights in my face. But it was, I mean, you can very obviously see it. And I felt like if I kept doing with that. I would kept like decorating that way. I would give somebody a freaking stroke. So I did not do that. I decided to switch lots. That fixed the issue. Oh, I hope my sound levels did not just peak. It fixed the issue, but then my game crashed. So, feeling kind of dissuaded. Okay. I'm about to put in a photo of some kitchen inspiration that I was looking at on Pinterest. Because you're gonna be like, what are you trying to do? But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to recreate that like drop ceiling effect using the kitchen cabinets. So not these kitchen cabinets, some other ones. I think that it turned out okay. It could have been a lot better. Obviously, like with anything else in The Sims, it's not perfect. I wish we had more just more options when it came to ceilings and floors that weren't so buggy. I just that would be the easiest way of describing it. Because I really would like to do more like of that like mid-century modern style of like roofing, ceilings, you know, sunken living rooms. I really like that kind of stuff. Anyways, had a lot of trouble with finishing out this build. I don't know that it's really worth it for the like 30 people that have watched this. I don't know if it's worth it for me to try and finish it out. I've uploaded everything that I've had that I've built. So you'll see that I have all of the rooms furnished bar the sunroom area, which is again isn't in this video, I don't think. So I don't know. It kind of is what it is. I don't think it's a mod issue. I think it's a plain Sims bug. Which most of the time are features, not bugs. So it is what it is at this point, I guess. That kind of sucks. I was really excited about decorating the exterior. It took a really long time to pick a stupid column here. You see I picked this one, and then I'll go back and I'll switch it out a few more times. I mentioned last video that I was able to send my friend Rose, who beautifully edited this, my CC, my build CC, and it's for like 45 gigs of CC, so an egregious amount. But they said before that they would be judging me for how long I would take to build stuff and to make a decision. But then they spent 20 minutes trying to pick out like a flooring or something, and I was like, yep. Oh no, it was decor. Dude, I can spend 20 minutes and not even get to the bottom of like the clutter section. It really is egregious. And I don't need all of it. So I was working on getting rid of a lot of that stuff, and I managed to get rid of a few gigs. But again, game having problems, game crashing. Love Sims problems. Love how a 14-year-old game isn't even optimized for like a good PC. Anyways, you will see in the previous video I had a nursery upstairs. I changed that. Again, not in this video, but I was trying to make it in this video, and I had the brilliant idea of what if I just do the whole build and then edit it all together rather than trying to do what I did before and editing it in chunks as I'm building. That way it's more concise. I got rid of the nursery. I just couldn't make it work. The room was too small. I never do nurseries, so I'm kind of unfamiliar with trying to make them work. Here I was trying to find a way to do that drop ceiling effect with the trims that I had, but I didn't really have anything that was thick enough that would show that would give a similar vibe. This was probably the best option, but again, you can see it's like clipping down. So I switched over to cabinets at this point, and I feel like it worked fairly okay. But Pinterest was a big help in this build, and I think I just have performance anxiety when it comes to filming myself playing The Sims, because it feels so like when I'm playing on my own, I can take my time and make a kitchen for like 6 hours. But if I'm gonna be filming that, like that's not an option. So I get kind of nervous about that, I guess. It takes me more time to build. I don't know, maybe I'll get faster, maybe I won't. I've been playing this game for like 5 years and I'm still as slow as ever. That's not true. Is that true? I might be even slower because of the amount of CC I have. I don't know. My tip always is to, like, if you're struggling with a room, make it smaller. Or just delete it. Delete everything in the room. Delete the floor plan. Try again. Or leave the lot and never come back to that build again. You'll, like, obviously you can see now that there's no real dining area. Which again, I think would be probably unrealistic for this kind of home. But I just felt that this like looked better, and a lot more, I don't know, though it flowed through the space better, and I wanted it to feel kind of more early 2000s rather than like someone who's, I don't know, I guess kept the original part of the home. You know, maybe this isn't how the original home looked. Here I'm filling in the gaps between the ceiling because I noticed that there was space. And in the original photo that I was looking at, if you remember, it has like the wooden, like kind of trim along the bottom of the ceiling. And so obviously I put this at the top because it's just more difficult in Sims to kind of do things that are accurate to life. But you know, I did my best. Been playing around a lot with transitions between cut frames, so hope you guys like that. I've been having a good time editing, I think. Except when I'm really annoying and accidentally put in a clip twice and then I have to find every part of it that I accidentally edited twice. Here I'm kind of starting on cluttering up the living room. I moved over the piano because I found some really nice inspiration for how I wanted it to look. Again, I love you, Pinterest, so much. Please remove all the AI off of your site. I'm sick and tired of it, and it's disgusting. I'm gonna put in a picture of what I was looking at when I was making this piano. I tried to recreate it like as closely as possible, but obviously that's not, that's not fully possible in The Sims. So I did my best, and I think it turned out really, really nice. Um, I wanted to. I swear, I thought I had some kind of like open um book of note of sheet music, like that one by Felix Andre, but I guess I don't. So I used this one. We can pretend it's a video game. We can pretend. Um, oh, you'll see that in this build, I'm using a lot of um, converts, like conversions from The Last of Us Part 2. Um, I will, I mean, all of this will be up for download as much as possible. I don't know if it will happen as soon as I post it or not. But these are from The Last of Us Part 2 from Ellie's farmhouse and her art room. I found someone who had made conversions of that. And it does require meshes, so you do have to download like 2 separate people's things. Actually, technically 3. I'll do my best to keep everything together. But I just thought this print was so perfect up here. It's obviously not like very similar to the one that they were using, but it was, I don't know, it feels warm, and I thought these people would really like it. As I was going through this living room, it was becoming more and more, I want to say, eclectic. So that's how I was picturing this family as kind of being maybe a little bit less of a like a normal mom dad, and more probably like queer parents of some sort. And I don't know, it felt right to do that and to decorate them in a way that I felt like fit if you had like an older lesbian couple who's lived here for like all of their life. Oh, my phone is super frozen. It's cool. But in that photo there was a little ottoman next to the piano with a cat on it. And I really like, what I would really like is to have some like, and I know people do this for Sims, but if I could have like pet CC that's like the actual like cats or dogs or something just like walking around the house, or like, you know, in a sleeping position, I think that would be so cool. I don't know if somebody's done that, but maybe I'll try to find some. I need to be cleaning out my CC, not getting more. What am I doing? Just scheming how to get more CC. I was looking through those ottomans again. And then after this, I'll just decorate up a little bit of the walls with some shelving. The piano was being kind of weird because of the occluder shading. I do have a no occluders by Peacemaker, but it doesn't work for everything. So I just ended up making the shelf darker. That kind of helped remedy the problem. I figured that one of the kids in this house, probably one of the girls in the that I decorated in the previous build, in the previous video, I figured one of them probably play the piano. I didn't feel like it went unused. I felt like there was actually music that would be played in this house, because they feel like the kind of family that would hang out a lot together rather than everybody being in their own separate spaces. which, you know, that's always the dream. We're kind of nearing towards the end now. Yeah, I just cluttering it up. So much clutter in this build. I probably shouldn't have gone with like such a big home for my first real speed build and voiceover. Because it's pretty daunting, I'll be honest. It's been kind of frustrating and hard to find a way to maneuver this while also being completely new at this kind of stuff. Yeah, finally moving on to the living room. Again, I'm really happy with the configuration of this space. I feel like it makes really good use of the space while also like giving every part like a real logical function, you know? I don't think they would have had a TV over this. I think that would have looked really silly. I do wish that I had like a big chair for someone to sit in. I think that would have been nice, but I just, you know, I couldn't fit it in. So it is what it is. You have these two comfy little couches. 10 a.m., you know. These curtains by Valia Sims. I don't know if it's Valia Sims or just Valia. I love them. They are so nice. The only thing is that the curtain rod that goes in between is set always for a medium height. So if you're using them on a short height, it's you gotta lower it with the tool mod, or else you can't really use it without like shrinking it down, I guess. I'm a big fan of having more floor lamps and like table lamps rather than using the big light. I am anti-big light. And you can see me changing the temperature a lot. Oh, this is the photo that I was using as inspiration. Obviously loose inspiration. I was feeding off of the vibes like Nosferatu, more than anything else. Like that photo is kind of more European and like English countryside vibes. Whereas that's not really what I went for here. I went for a lot more Americanism. But I tried to clutter it up with like a few different books, but I didn't like how alpha and like weird the meshes were looking together, so I got rid of it. I think it still looks great. I tried to have this look like realistic, like they had just like put stuff that they weren't using on top of the fireplace, books, board games, you know, a nice candle that they probably left there from like Christmas. I felt like it really fit this family. You know, and I have those dominoes and those like sketches on the table. I moved this little bookshelf thing over here. I made it yellow. I think I change it to brown maybe later on. I'm not sure. I really like that wooden ship. So we'll definitely make sure to include that. I felt like that was kind of cool. But where the bookshelf used to be, which is like kind of right next to that piano, but like in the other room in like a nook, I added in a sunroom. Didn't get to decorate that before my game started going crazy. Which again, I don't think is a problem with this house. I think it's just a Sims problem. Unfortunately, it just kind of is like that sometimes. it'd be what it do. Um, I had a mostly good time decorating this home. When I fell into my stride, I had a good time, which is always kind of the hard part with Sims builds. I think it's finding something that looks good, uh, and for me at least looks realistic, but also works in Sims. We are nearing the end of this video. I think there's only about a minute left. If you've stuck around for this long, thank you. I hope to see you in part 3. That should be getting posted and up very, very soon because I have it all pretty much edited. All I have to do is the voiceover. So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your days.